منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتغرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقف هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم العن أول ظالمين ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم العن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم العنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك منا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد منا لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدأ به أولا ثم العن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم العن يزيد خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمرا وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظيم رزيته. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل يا رب على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسن الله لك. اسمعك.
So you have an actual car? And a password.
Wait, what do you mean? So you're not going to have any more on Thursday as well?
Only on Thursdays, Ahmed?
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سيد عبدالله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله رحمك الله يا أبا عبد الله لعن الله من قتلك ولعن الله من شرك في دمك ولعن الله من بلغه ذلك. You can use him as a role model. So he is an absolute positive role model, 100%. He has no faults and no flaws. He is what we call infallible. So he is the absolute role model if me and you want to learn. Now, we have something what we call Sunan al-Nabi, things that the Prophet ﷺ used to do, and me and you need to do what? Imitate, copy, and follow. So whatever he used to do, we need to do the mine. Because every action that he does is not just correct, is what Allah wants him to do. So Allah says this is how we should do, and he applies it. So if he walks, if he talks, if he looks, if he sleeps, if he eats, whatever he does, every single action is exactly what Allah wants from him. So we need to do what? Do the same. Now I'm going to mention about 16, 17 of these things that he used to do, that me and you need to do what? Imitate and apply in our life. Very simple, not complicated, things you can do on a daily basis. As you go into the center, going home, going to school, talking with people, you can apply them easily. Okay? Number one, the Prophet ﷺ, he used to look at the ground. We have a habit of looking people in the eyes. This is a form of disrespect. The Prophet ﷺ, out of humbleness, he's always looking at the ground. He's walking, he's looking at the ground. He's sitting in a gathering, he's looking at the ground. There is no need for you to stare at people. Staring at people is rude. So out of respect, you lower your gaze. And this is what Allah says to the mu'mineen, that when you walk in the street especially, lower your gaze, lower your eyesight, because sometimes you might see something that you should not be looking at. So you need to what? Control your eyes and look down. This is one of the things the Prophet ﷺ used to do. As he walks and he's looking down, he's always the first person to say greeting and salam to others. He doesn't wait for people to say salam to him. He doesn't say, I am the Prophet, so you say salam to me. I am the Sayyid, you say salam to me. I am the Master. No. He's always the first to say salam to people. Yeah? So this is something that we need to do as well. 3, which is something that we do all the time. He never talks unless he's trying to do what? Teach or preach. So either he's teaching someone, or telling someone what to do, or trying to give a lecture to the Muslimin. Otherwise he's what? Silent. He doesn't talk, he just sits. Sometimes we get embarrassed if we're silent. I gotta talk, I gotta say something. What are they gonna say about me? Why is he quiet? No. Just be quiet. No one likes it, that's not your problem. You don't have to talk. The more you talk, I told you this before, the more you talk, the more mistakes you'll make. The more you will give something for people to hold against you. Keep quiet. Either you have something good to say, or don't say it. That's if you want to be like the Prophet ﷺ. If you want to be a big mouth that just talks for no reason, nothing good comes out of you, it's not required. The Prophet used to always quiet, he always talks if he is required. Otherwise, he is quiet. Number 4, when it comes to the blessings of Allah, especially when it comes to food, he's always respectful to food. And even whether the food is less, or let's say is not what you think or as good as you want it to be, sometimes your mom cooks something like, oh, what is this? I don't want this. Make me something else. I don't want noodles, make me chicken. No. Alright? So whatever you have, the Prophet ﷺ, even if it's a bread that is dry and old, he eats it and he says, Alhamdulillah. He never complains. And he shows respect towards the food. Sometimes we step on the bread, we step on the rice, and we throw food around. And especially when it comes to fruits. We throw oranges and apples and bananas around like as if they are toys. You need to show respect because some people sadly don't get to eat. This apple that you bite twice and you throw it in the bin, this is haram, this is wasted. Some people don't get the chance to eat such a thing. So the Prophet ﷺ, he used to show respect towards food. Alright, number 5. The Prophet always, he has this habit of smiling. Smiling, we say, is a charity, sadaqah. You see someone, smile. Don't always be frowning and then if someone killed your mom and your dad. Smile. Smiling is for free. It doesn't cost you much. The Prophet used to smile. Also, at the same time, he does not use to laugh loudly. Sometimes we laugh like hyenas. Have you guys seen hyenas? No, this is a form of disrespect, especially if you're sitting in a place where there's people gathering. Go, ha ha ha. Nah, that's rude. You need to do what? Keep it to a smile level. Anything louder is a form of disrespect. And the Prophet ﷺ was never heard laughing loudly. He's always smiling. Just smile. Don't go overboard. Number 6. He never used to argue. We love arguments. You say something, and I love to prove you wrong. I love to shove my idea up your brain. No. You have an idea. You have, for example, you believe in something. That's your opinion. I don't have to prove you wrong. I don't have to make you look bad or sound bad. This is what you believe, good. I'm just going to take it. And no need to argue. We argue a lot. The Prophet ﷺ, he never used to argue. If someone says, he either corrects him if it's something relating to Islam, if it's just, for example, a matter of dunya and things that not what? No need to argue. 7, which is very important. He never cuts someone off when they're talking. Which is something we do all the time. You ask me a question, I'm trying to answer you, and someone else barge in and trying to cut me off. Or I haven't even finished replying to you and you're starting to do what? You ask me the second question. Or you're trying to reply to me. No, this is not the akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to wait. He lets the other person finishes. Once he's finished, then he talks. Fair enough? Simple? Very simple. But why do we do always cutting people off? That's stupidity. That's what we call ignorance. So the Prophet ﷺ, he never cuts anyone off unless they finish talking. Number 9, or number 8 I should say. Number 8, the Prophet ﷺ, he does not differentiate between old and young when it comes to, for example, respecting them. He doesn't say he's younger than me, therefore I'm not going to say salam to him. I'm not going to talk to him. I said this to you many times. Every time he sees someone young, doesn't matter how young he is. He comes to his level, he says salam to him, and he shakes his hand, and if he's a little boy, he gives him a kiss, and sometimes he gives him a hug. And sometimes he puts him on his lap. And when someone older than him, he always says, salam alaikum. I've seen you guys, sometimes you don't say salam to the older people, why? No, there's no such a thing as embarrassment. This is the akhlaq you need to learn. Someone older than you say salam alaikum. This is how you learn. That's how we learn. So young or old, we need to do what? Respect them and greet them. Okay? Number 9, when the Prophet ﷺ has to choose between 2 things. Okay, for example, you give him a choice. You either this or you either that. He always chooses that which is harder, not that which is easier. Why? Because he's trying to teach himself perseverance, and he's trying to teach himself patience. If you always go for the easy stuff, you'll never learn. You'll be what we call a candy. As soon as the heat hits it, what happens to it? It melts. You don't want to be a candy. You want to be a lollipop. Something hard and strong. Yeah? So the Prophet always chooses something that is what? Hard. He doesn't choose the small things. Number 10. When he comes to the masjid, or the places of worship, he always sits in a way where he's facing the Qibla. He's always facing the Qibla. Every time he wants to sit, he says what the Qibla is and he does what? Faces the Qibla. He doesn't give his back to the Qibla. Even when he sleeps, he faces So you adjust your bed that when you wake up, your qibla is in front of you. So you give your feet towards the qibla. This is one of the akhlaq of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when it comes to sitting. He's always facing the qibla. Number 11. He's always, when he says salam to someone, he's always the first to shake their hand. He doesn't want for people to give him their hands. And he's the last to take his hand back. So he shakes their hand and he waits for the other person to pull his hand. Well, if they never do, they will do at some stage. Alright? You can play that game, see who pulls his hand first. See how it goes. But he is the first one to shake their hand and the last to retract his hand. So this is something that we need to understand as well and learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he has a friend or a guest over, when people come and you invite them for food, he always begins before them. Why? To make them feel comfortable. And he is the last to stop eating. So that the guest does not feel, not just lonely, he doesn't feel uncomfortable. Because sometimes you invite someone and you stop eating. If your guest is still hungry, he will say, okay, that's an indication that this guy doesn't want me to eat anymore. So he stops as well. So when it comes to your guest, eat before, so they get encouraged to eat, and be the last, so they can continue eating. When the Prophet ﷺ used to get sad, what does he used to do? Or something happens to him, something, let's say, a problem comes his way, and he feels sad, and he feels upset. No. He goes and he prays. 2 rak'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You explain to Allah why you're sad, why you're upset, and Allah will take care of you. He will make you happy. So every time you're sad, pray 2 rak'ah to Allah, and inshallah your problem will be solved. And lastly, when it comes to his appearance on the outside, always clean, always beautiful. His clothes always white, and you could never see dirt on them. Never. Sometimes we wear the same socks 5 days in a row. Or we wear the same t-shirt or the same shirt 5 days in a row. And sometimes you can even smell it when someone sits next to you. You can tell they haven't washed their clothes for a while. This is not the akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ. His clothes are always clean, white, and they always smell beautiful. He always fixes his hair every time he goes outside. He always has a mishat in his pocket, and he's always fixing his hair. Always cutting his nails, and always putting perfume. He used to love perfume. He says there is no wasting when it comes to perfume. So all of you should have at least a mishat in your pocket, a nail clipper, and perfume, wherever you go. Alright? No, I don't say Pastor. I'm saying the idea is you need to keep yourself clean and looking beautiful at all times if you want the Prophet ﷺ to be your role model. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.